Hey folks, for the tech tidbit this week, it's actually a low tech tidbit. I'm going to share with you a technique that I used for creating a remote schedule during the pivot last spring that was able to kind of centralize all my information for my students. Now, if you use Notebowl, that's fine. You can go ahead and use that, or maybe if you create your own HTML web page or something like that. But this is just a very cheap and cheerful way that I was able to keep all of my scheduling centered for my students, any YouTube links that I had to videos, any PDFs that I had, and even my Google Meet links. And you could do this with Zoom as well. So I was able to keep that all centralized on this very simple document. And it just gave me a little bit more control as I was trying to keep track of everything for the students. And if you think about as we head in this next semester, again, one of the themes I keep talking about is we want to keep focused. So we want to try to do more with less material, right? Because our brains are going to be kind of overtaxed in the coming semester. So try to focus, but then also try to simplify, make things simple for our students, simple for ourselves. Keeping everything organized in one spot like this helps to achieve that. Okay, so let's take a look here at what we have. So this is just a simple old Google Doc that I share with my students. First off, just a little tip up here. I keep everything kind of in one central folder, and then I might kind of have some folders off of that. But it was always a nuisance for my name file to have to be searching down through all those files. You put a little underscore in front of that first letter there, then the lexicographic ordering will actually put that file at the top, so that kind of alphabetically gets to the top. So that guy will always appear to the top, and your brain still sees it as what you have your file named as. Okay, so what do I have here? I've got my groups of students. So I split my class. I think I had like 16 students or something like that. I split them into two groups of 8. All my virtual class meetings and office hours were at the given time. And then I had a little kind of intro video here on YouTube, just about 5 or 6 minutes, just kind of explaining the calendar, just like I am for you here. Okay, what else do we have? So if we scroll down here, I then had things kind of highlighted. So if things were in yellow, then they would submit those on Notebowl. Again, a very low-tech method that I did for this. They would oftentimes do handwritten notes to me, either for homework or for the reading notes or something like that. And I would literally have them take a picture of that and then upload it to Notebowl. That's an old trick that I learned from Jess and Havel quite some time ago. I do know that since then, some folks have found that there's apps, when they take the picture, they can then convert that to a PDF, which makes it a little bit easier if you're kind of one of those clever types that grades using an iPad or something like that. Okay, so what does a week look like for me? So here's a week. Complete the following notes before our virtual meetings. So I kind of split these into 2 pieces. I had some kind of a 2-page thing in yellow here. This was more of kind of a warm-up thing that they were going to do on their own. Again, they were sending those things just by taking a picture. And then I split my class up into 2 sections. So I had one class on Wednesday and one half of the class on Friday, and they were to do these other lecture notes before then. So that was in orange. And then you see here that I have my video links laid out. So here would be my lecture notes. So those they would either print out if they had a printer at home, or some of them actually did it on the iPad, and others just looked at their copy and put it in their ruled notebook. So again, think about our hybrid, flex thing for the fall. What we might be able to do is have those printed copies given to the students if we actually get to see them in the classroom. Then what do we have? So then I had my videos all laid out. Here I had an error, so I had to kind of point out that to them. Then I also had my virtual office hours, so I had my link to that. So here's my Google link. Again, if you're doing this with Zoom, you could have your Zoom link there. So I've got all this stuff centralized for them. And as we go down through here, as you can see, once we kind of have something filled out, then we can go through and check that off our list. So all these little check boxes, then they can kind of see the progress as we kind of move down through the week here. The virtual class groups, back in the spring, I was recording those videos. So here's kind of our discussion with the class of what was going on with that. I know there's some question about, hey, can we do that again this fall? I do know that the provost office is working on some language that we can share with students about the appropriateness of recording a class lecture. That's not just asynchronous, but actually a synchronous class session, and how we might share that. So be looking for that. Okay, so as we move down through here, then boy, look at this. So originally I had lectures up here that were about 20 to 21 minutes. Those were kind of long. So what you see down here is I broke them up into much smaller pieces. Again, that refers back to Mike Wesch and the idea of creating these micro lessons. The brain can't sit through 20 minutes of video. It's just too long. So again, what I'm doing is I'm breaking those up into smaller pieces. As I scroll down here, now my videos down here, all of a sudden those guys kind of disappear. And what in the heck happened with those things? Well, what I learned to do on my PDF is instead of having all the videos linked on the page, it was actually linked in the PDF. So here's the PDF that they would do those reading notes, and those reading notes, or I should say video notes, those video notes are a way for them to engage with the material. So there's not statically watching the video, but I have questions that go along with the video that they're filling out. They either submit those with Notebowl or they're going to use them during the class discussion. But what I did with those PDFs is then I embedded in that the video link so that they could click on that PDF and off they would go. So that was a little bit more efficient that way. Again, trying to keep things more simple for my students. So you can see here as things progressed, I had a bunch of I had some long lecture videos. Then I kind of broke them up into pieces, and then I got clever and kind of condensed them all into one PDF. Let's see, anything else going on interesting here? I think that's about it. So again, just kind of keeping track of things all in one place. So this is kind of a one-stop shop for the students. They would find everything that they needed for the class, as well as kind of the ebb and flow of how things were laid out. And it was just a really nice way to keep everything centralized. So I hope you find that low-tech tip useful. Thanks.